My fiancé is giving me an ultimatum whether I can marry him or not. He's saying either split all of my assets with him 50-50, or he's simply going to leave me. And the reason that he's saying this is because he just found out I have a pretty large inheritance from my grandmother, and I invested it all into a few properties. I didn't tell him about this when we were dating simply because, well, I didn't think it was even his business. But now that we're getting married, he says no. That $3 million worth of portfolio I have needs to be split with him 50-50 if he's going to be an equal partner. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, but now he's saying he's going to leave me. So I said, well, I'm not splitting my money. Pack your bags and hit the door. So the next day I changed the locks, and now he's going kinda crazy. He's telling his friends that I manipulated him. He's calling my work office, and you will not even believe what he said to my father. I need to know if I'm the jerk for ending my engagement after my fiancé demand I buy a house in both of our names, even though he would not contribute a penny. I'm Terry, 28 female, and until 5 days ago I was engaged to Saeed, 37. We've been together for 2 years. He moved into my house 6 months ago and proposed a month ago with what I thought was genuine love. Now I'm sitting in my locked bedroom while he packs his crap in the guest room. And I'm wondering if I just threw away my future over money or if I dodged a big bullet that would have destroyed me eventually. 3 years ago, my grandmother Mary passed away. Left me an inheritance that changed my life really forever. I'm talking life-changing money. It was in the millions. Generated about $40,000 a month in income just from the money I invested. I quit my soul-crushing corporate job and now teach part-time at a local elementary school because I love kids and wanted a purpose, not because I needed the money. I travel during school breaks, and I'm developing a nonprofit for underprivileged kids. And I live in a nice but not, huge house. I bought it before the inheritance, by the way. Only my father, Martin, and sister, Lexi, know the full amount of money because, well, money changes how people see you, and I want it to be love for me, not for my bank account. When I met Saeed at charity events 2 years ago, he seemed perfect. Successful marketing director, making about $10,000 a month, and he had his life together. Talked about values, building something meaningful. He knew that I had some family money because obviously my teacher's salary could not support my lifestyle. But I kept it vague, said I had enough savings and investments to be comfortable. We split everything 50-50 on the date. Vacations, everything. He never seemed bothered by it and never pushed for details, never showed signs of being interested in my money. 6 months ago, he moved into my home. His lease was up at his apartment, and we figured, hey, why pay rent somewhere else when we're always together anyways? I suggested he just cover the groceries while I kept paying my utilities and property taxes I was already paying. He pushed for us to make it official. So, by putting his name on the deed, but I said that we should wait until after marriage to make these kind of decisions. He seemed fine with that, though looking back, he brought it up way too often for someone who was supposedly fine with it. The proposal happened a month ago at my favorite restaurant, very public, very romantic. Everybody was clapping. I said yes, because I loved him, and I thought that we were building something real. That's when everything started unraveling, though I didn't see it at first. 2 weeks after the proposal, Saeed starts pushing hard about buying our house instead of living in my home. He said he felt like a guest in my home and that we need to start fresh in a place that was ours. I understood that perspective of emotion, but financially it made no sense to sell a perfectly good house just to buy another one. Plus, his version of our home was significantly larger because he wanted his father to move in with us eventually. Let me explain about his father because this became a huge issue. His father is 68, perfectly healthy, and lives independently in another state. But Saeed insisted that within the next few years, his father would need to move in so Saeed could take care of him. I adore his father, he's a sweet man, but I don't want to live with in-laws. See, my compromise was that we could look into a house with a separate in-law unit or buy his father a condo nearby when the time came. Saeed said that's putting his father in exile and real families live together. The house hunting started, and that's when I realized we needed to have the full financial conversation. It's time. Saeed wanted to look at a house in the $1 million range, saying we could afford it together. I asked him, well, how he figured that with his little salary and my teacher income. Well, he laughed and said I was being coy about my inheritance situation, and it's time to be honest since we're getting married. So I told him. Not exactly like numbers, just that I had a substantial investment generating passive income, and his eyes lit up and he asked, how substantial, honey? When I said, well, about $40,000 a month, he went from silent for a full minute and then said, you've been lying to me for 2 years? I explained, oh no, I didn't lie, just been private about specific numbers and that I'd always planned to be fully transparent before the marriage. He said if I trusted him, I would have told him sooner. And then he immediately starts recalculating our house budget, looking at $3 million homes, saying, oh, we could afford these. When I asked about his contribution, he simply said, since I have so much money, it didn't make sense for him to delete his savings. He had about $100,000 saved up, but why touch that when I'm sitting on millions? I suggested we contribute proportionately. See, I put in 80% and he would put in 20%, and we would own the house in those proportions, and he looked at me like I suggested selling his kidney. We're going to be married, honey. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. You're being so selfish. Selfish. So I'm being selfish for not wanting to buy a $3 million beachfront home entirely by myself and put his name on half of it. Oh yeah. That's when I brought up the prenup I'd always planned on having. My lawyer had actually prepped it because I knew this conversation was coming one day. The prenup was fair. We would each keep what we brought into the marriage and split what we built together. Standard protection for both of us. Saeed lost his mind, and I mean lost it. Said prenups were for people who plan to leave each other. That I was already planning my exit strategy. That if I really loved him, my exit strategy would be death. He accused me of thinking he was a gold digger, of not believing in our relationship, of being materialistic and putting money first over true love. So we fought about this for 3 days, or almost 100 hours straight. He would alternate between anger, hurt, manipulation, and love bombing. One minute he would be yelling that I was treating him like, well, just someone from the street who needs to be paid off. The next he would be crying about how he just wanted us to be equal. He stormed out, then came back with flowers, and he gave me the silent treatment, then cook elaborate dinners and act like nothing happened. His argument kept shifting too. First it was about trust, then it was about equality in marriage, then it was about his dignity as a man, then it was about his father and family values, and then it was about how I had deceived him for 2 years. Every time I addressed one concern, he would pivot to another. On day 3 of this exhausting cycle, he sat me down for what he called a final decision. He said that he thought about it and realized we were both being unreasonable, so you want to hear his compromise? I buy the house outright. We both go on the deed as equal owners, and he'll sign the prenup for everything else, and his father can move in whenever needed. Take it or leave it, baby. So I asked him to clarify. I spent $3 million of my money on a home. He contributes absolutely nothing but owns half of it. Yeah, he said, because that's what marriage means, equal partnership. So I asked what happened if I said no to this little generous compromise of his. He said, then clearly I value money over our own relationship, and we should just end things. I'm giving you an ultimatum. Choose me or choose your money. So I chose the money. I stood up, walked to my bedroom, and took off the engagement ring and walked back and set it on the coffee table in front of him. Told him the engagement was off and he needed to move out immediately. The look on his face was like I slapped him. He genuinely thought that I would cave to keep him. The backpedaling started immediately. He didn't mean it as an ultimatum, just a discussion point. He was frustrated and did not express himself well. He loved me more than money. We could work this out. He was willing to compromise further. Maybe he could contribute something to the house. Maybe his dad did not move in right away. But here's what hurt any possibility of reconciliation. When I held firm on ending things, he said, "You're really going to throw away our entire relationship over money? You're choosing your bank account over love?" I said no. He's the one that threw away our relationship when he demanded that I fund his lifestyle and give him half of the assets he didn't even earn. He chose the possibility of my money over the reality of our relationship. He gave the ultimatum, not me. And then you know what he said? He said I didn't earn the money either. It was an inheritance. I did nothing to get this. If he really loved me, he would split it. Well, then came the accusations. I'm cold-hearted, someone who doesn't understand love. I'm damaged from my parents' divorce. Guys, I don't know where he's getting that from, by the way. My parents have been happily married for 40 years. I'm incapable of trust because I'm too controlling, and I'm going to pass away alone with my money and a bunch of cats. No man will ever want me because I'm too selfish to care. I've wasted 2 years of his life. The prime of his dating, I led him on, and I'm probably into women anyway since I hate him so much. The mask had completely fallen. This wasn't the man who cried at rescue dog videos and brought me soup when I was feeling sick. This was somebody cold, who felt entitled to my money and was furious that I wouldn't hand it over. That night, I locked myself in my bedroom and called Lexi. She drove over immediately, and we could hear Saeed on the phone with someone ranting about me. The parts that we caught included controlling, promised me that we would buy a house, wasted 2 years on her, and she has millions and won't even share. So the next morning, Saeed had completely changed his tactic. He made breakfast, was wearing the shirt I bought him for his birthday, had flowers on the table, and he wants to talk calmly about where things went wrong. He said that he's been processing stuff and realized he acted badly because he felt hurt that I hid my wealth. It made him feel like I didn't trust him at all, like I thought he was after my money from the start. The money difference made him feel emasculated and vulnerable to financial abuse. He was not interested in my money. He just wanted to feel like an equal, not a kept man. He apologized for the ultimatum, said he was scared of losing me, and handled it bad. He was willing to accept my terms. Prenup, proportional house ownership even a separate unit for his father instead of living with us. He just wanted us to work through this together, maybe even counseling. Well, yeah, after that, it just seemed for a moment I would waver. This was the Saeed I fell in love with, thoughtful, articulate, vulnerable. But then I remembered how quickly he turned vicious when he didn't get his way, how he calculated the exact minimum contribution needed to get maximum benefit. Now, his first thought, upon learning about my wealth, was that he could get from it certain money, not happiness for my security or my curiosity about how I managed it, oh no. I told him I needed time to think, and he agreed to stay at a hotel for a few days. Of course, I said okay, and as soon as he left, I called a locksmith and changed every dang lock in the house. I also called my lawyer to make sure he has no claim to tenant rights, since he's been living here for 6 months, but thankfully, since he's never paid rent or received mail there, he was considered a guest. Well, over the next 2 days, I packed all his belongings carefully in boxes, his clothes, his toiletries, the gaming system he set up in my living room, the expensive watch I bought him for Christmas, everything. I also did something petty. I'm not very proud of this, but, I actually saw this in another post, so I said, you know what, I'll do this too. I printed out screenshots of every time in the 2 years he sent me Venmo requests for exactly half of our dinner bill, movie tickets, even the gas where we drove to meet his parents. The man who thought he deserved half of my home made sure that I paid for half of an $8.99 Netflix subscription. He was too cheap to even get the one that was ad-free. My sister's friend Rebecca works in Saeed's industry and did some discreet digging. Turns out Saeed has been telling coworkers for months that he was about to come into family money through marriage. He's been looking at boats online at work. He told his brother that he would be able to loan him money for a house soon, and he's been living in my house rent-free for 6 months while collecting rent from his condo that he never even mentioned he owned. Oh yeah, that was a fun discovery. Saeed owns a condo he bought 5 years ago. He told me he sold it when the market was at the peak, which is why he had so much savings, but no. He's been renting it out for $3,000 a month while living in my house for free. When I confront him about this, he said it's an investment property and didn't count it as hiding assets because he planned to sell it as a contribution to our home. The house he wants me to pay for outright. It makes no sense what this man is sputtering. I also learned from social media, watching that his ex-girlfriend Linda had broken up with him 3 years ago for similar reasoning. He pressured her to add him to the deed of her home after only dating for 8 months, and she posted about it in a women's support group, thankfully, that my sister happened to be in. The post described exactly what I'd experienced: the sudden entitlement after learning about the assets, the ultimatums, the emotional manipulation, and the victim playing when he was called out. When Saeed came to get his stuff, I had everything packed and waiting by the door. He was hurt and angry that I packed his stuff like trash, said I was being cruel and treating him like a criminal. I told him that I was treating him like what he was, an ex-boyfriend who tried to manipulate me into giving him half of the $1 million assets. Yeah. He tried one more time just to reconcile, said that we could go to counseling and make it work through these trust issues, and take things slow. Maybe not get married right away, but stay together and figure things out. He loves me. He made mistakes. Didn't I believe in forgiveness? I told him I forgive him, but I'd never forget who he showed himself to be when money was involved. If we stayed together, every financial decision would be a battle. Every purchase would be scrutinized. I'd always wonder if he was with me or my bank account, and that is no way to live. He left with his boxes, but not before saying I would regret this. Not as a threat, but as a prediction. See, no man would ever want a woman who valued money over love. I'd end up alone with my millions, too suspicious to ever trust anyone, and he was the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I was too damaged to see it. It's been exactly 2 weeks now. He texted a few times, ranging from apologizing to insulting to begging, and his mother calls me crying. Said I was breaking her son's heart and destroying their family's future. His father, the sweet one, sent me a message saying that he was sorry things didn't work out and simply wished me well. Yeah, that one actually made me cry. My friends are divided on the subject. Some think I overreacted to someone who just hurt and is handling stuff badly, and others think I dodged a massive bullet. Some even point out that most women would do anything for a man who simply wanted to build a life together and take care of his aging parents. Others say he showed his true colors and, well, the second the money was involved, but here is, to me, what sealed it. I found out from Rebecca that Saeed is already on other dating apps. Can you believe that crap? Yeah. His profile actually says looking for a genuine woman who understands that love means sharing everything, not keeping score. That's right. He posted inspirational quotes about knowing your worth and not settling for less, and he's telling people I broke up with him because he wanted his father to live with us, and I hate family values. So the revenge, if you can call it that, is that word got around about what really happened. Rebecca made sure of it. His co-workers know that he was planning to live off of his wife's money, and the dating pool in our city now includes women who have been warned about the man who thinks marriage means getting half of your assets you don't contribute to. His rental property mysteriously got reported to the IRS for unreported income. I wonder who did that. Don't know who would do such a thing. But the real revenge is why I'm even posting this, to ask you guys, is this too far? It's what set me free, to be honest. I don't have to buy a $3 million house I don't want. I don't have to live with in-laws, and I don't have to justify keeping my own darn money. I don't have to pretend that somebody demanding half my assets while contributing nothing is equality. I can find someone who wants me, not my bank account. Am I the a-hole for ending a relationship over money? Maybe, but I'd rather be a wealthy jerk than a broke fool who gave half of her house to a man who counted every penny when we were dating, but expected unlimited access to my wealth when he thought that he would lock me down. So, the prenup I drew up cost me $800 worth of legal fees, but breaking up with Saeed saves me $3 million. Best investment I ever made. Priceless. Edit. Since people keep asking, yes, I'm in therapy. I don't know why everyone always recommends that, but yes, I was already there. I know how to deal with trust issues this created a lot better now. And no, I won't be disclosing my wealth to future partners until much later. I might even buy a $200,000 house and pretend I'm broke. Yes, I've increased security at my home, and no, I don't think all men are gold diggers, just the ones who demand you buy them a home. Edit 2. Saeed made a TikTok account about toxic women who choose money over love. It went viral in the wrong way. The comments are calling him out for wanting a free house, and they're calling him a freeloader. He's now private in all social medias, I guess you can say. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, but here it goes. I'm going to ask you guys this before I end this post and never look back. Do you think that I made the right choice? Now, I get it. Marriage does mean equality, but when it comes to just giving someone $1.5 million worth of assets, you have to look twice. Come on, protect your money, be safe, and try to find any red flags that you can before it's too late. That's it. I'm done ranting. Let me know if I made the right choice. See ya. Alright guys, it seems like this Saeed character was doing repeat business. It seems like he's already pulled this stunt with multiple other ex-girlfriends, and we don't even know how far back he's been doing this. However, I do want to read some of the comments because, some of them were saying they don't really blame Saeed for wanting to be an equal partner, and they do believe that assets should be split between the partner. Now, I don't totally disagree with that, but there has to be a fine line between splitting it equally and just straight up giving him $2 million. I mean, come on. Let's read some of the comments though and talk about it in our comment section down below. The first comment is against OP. It says this: "You're going to pass away alone, with your money, like Saeed said, because you just proved you value wealth over partnership and can't understand what marriage actually means. Let me break it down to you. Your fiancé spent 2 years splitting everything 50-50 with you while you literally lied about having millions. Then you act shocked when he feels betrayed and wants equality in marriage. Marriage is about sharing everything. That's literally the point of becoming one unit. But you want to keep a score like a roommate instead of building a life together. How are you guys even going to start a family thinking like this? You led him on for 2 years, letting him think that you were middle class. Then spring millions on him and immediately demand a prenup like he's some gold digger when he never even asked for your money before for 2 years. Come on." Yeah. The man wants to take care of his aging father, which shows character and family values. But you're too selfish to compromise on living arrangements despite having more money than you could ever spend in a lifetime. He was right. You'll probably end up alone because no self-respecting man will accept being treated like a thief who needs legal documents to prove he's not after your little precious money. Guys, that was the main comment against OP, and I'll be honest with you, there were a lot of people that agreed with that statement about what's the point of becoming a unit if you're not going to split stuff equally. Here is the next comment, which actually is supporting OP. It says this: "This man is textbook financial predator. Oh, Saeed, who revealed himself the second he smelt the money. Owning a secret rental property while living rent-free in your house for 6 months shows he's been scheming from day one. The audacity of demanding you spend $3 million on a house that he contributes nothing to, but still owns 50% is not equality. It's theft with a marriage. He literally told coworkers he was coming into family money before you were even married and was shopping for a boat while making you split a Netflix account of $8. This was a long con, and it failed, buddy. The fact that his ex-girlfriend went through the exact same thing proves this is a pattern. Find successful woman, check. Move into their homes, demand property rights, check. And throw tantrums when refused, check. Real partners contribute proportionately and don't give ultimatums demanding literally millions in assets they did not earn while calling you selfish for protecting yourself. Thank goodness you discovered his true nature before marriage, because divorce would have cost you millions, instead of just boxing up his gaming console and sending him back to his secret condo that he lied about owning. Oh, did you guys forget about that? He's a liar too. He literally forgot to tell you that he owned a condo. Come on! Guys, that was the end of the second comment. And you know, that is a very good point to point out. Everybody that is against OP calling her a liar for hiding the money, they're just conveniently forgetting the fact that Saeed owns a condo and is actively renting it, getting passive income every single month, and he didn't tell a soul. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more of these juicy drama stories. I have a very large saga coming up soon about a mother-in-law, and let me just tell you, it's a 3-part series and it is crazy. If you think that we've seen wild mother-in-laws on this channel, this one might actually rival the notorious Magda, if you guys remember that story. Anyways, make sure you hit the like button, hit the hype button down below, and, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow, but of course remember one thing. It's cool to be kind. Peace.